morning, students. Students, are you hearing my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So in the last classes, we have a general introduction over the syllabus of paper 1, social, economic and cultural history of India, 1206 to 1707. Okay, so I have another paper. I have to deal is the fifth one, right? So cultural history of India. Okay, so cultural history of India is one of the important paper. Uh, we have to be concentrate because all cultural aspects have to be discussed here regarding the Indian history. And before going to these paper, before going to certain introduction over the syllabus, I have to share my screen first of all, and then I will continue my lecture. Wait for a while, students. I have to share my screen. Is it clear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Students, are you getting my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's a fifth paper. Uh, as a part of the last two, where we have the four modules. Uh, Likewise, we have the four modules in it, and first module, which is deals with introduction to the Indian culture, basically. Okay, so Indian culture is one of the a complex culture because you find number of cultures in it, number of subcultures in it. Okay, because Indian culture having a composite, we better to be say as a composite culture or a mixed culture or variety of cultures. Okay, so because uh, when you see from the outside, it looks like a unity in the diversity. Okay, so when you see from the outside, it should be a unity one. It should be a oneness. But there are diversity or diversified cultures you find in it. Okay, so because many historical forces and historical forces which given some scope to unity in the diversity. Okay, so because which helped by the geographical conditions, religion, and political ideas, India, which acquired her individuality and unity in the diversity, the historical process. Okay, so where you find such a heritage, you see, because the history or the culture of Indian history, while you find, it may be a continuous one. Okay, so you cannot find any break in between, right? It's a continuous process, right? And the culture through the ages. Next one is the culture through the ages. Okay, so culture through the ages also it's a continuous one, and it continues from the past. Okay, so the culture having certain changes. Okay, so from one stage to the another, and some of the unwanted rituals or traditions were uh, declined, and which were abolished legally and officially, and some superstitions also abandoned. Okay, so but some new cultural aspects and some new cultural elements may be added. Okay, so according to the time bound. Okay, so according to the particular time, right? So, but the basic cultural aspects may be continued. Okay, so when you see, India is a subcontinent having various or variety of regions and variety of geographical features. Okay, so when you see, uh, you find such a geographical diversity. You can say that physical diversity, and when you see these things in a Indian text, religious text, it may be like where the Madhya Desha and Dakshinapada and Purva Desha. Likewise, we have certain divisions. Okay, so Madhya Desha, Uttarpata, Pracha, Dakshinapata, Aparanta, like divisions we see in the texts of religious texts. Okay, so where, but even though such diversity, okay, so even though such diversity, but as a whole, as a whole Indian subcontinent, it be a single nation or uh, a single region. Okay, so when you see from the outside, it looks like a single Indian territory, and within the Indian territory, you find the number of diversities, number of variants. Okay, so and culture through the years, the culture, the basic culture of India continues from the past, having certain changes. Okay, so when you see the features of Indian culture, uh, features of Indian culture, you see like a unity in the diversity, where the number of languages you find, number of religions you find, number of divisions in the society you find. Okay, so but all these are having a common thing is oneness. Okay, so Indians were having diversified features. Indian people are having geographically different, and Indian regions are geographically different, variants, and languages are different, and their dress styles are different, and their traditions, cultures are different. Even though among them have a one feeling is nothing but a Indian is a oneness. Okay, so it should we mm, say we must say that unity in the diversity. Okay, so then we'll go with the growth and development of language and literature. Okay, so as a India as a whole, you find the thousands of languages. Okay, so and the number of literary things. Okay, so how these had certain development among these languages. Okay, so you cannot say that now what we are uh, going with such a languages you cannot see in the past. Okay, you cannot find in those in the our ancient period, because during the time of Indus Valley, what such type of language they used we don't know. And during the time of Vedic, we have some sources regarding the Sanskrit. Okay, so Sanskrit may be a language they used, but what type of script they followed, we don't know. And at that time, they don't find any script, and uh, what type of script they followed, we don't know. Okay, but the Sanskrit maybe had certain changes, and during the time of Gupta times, Sanskrit became a important language. Okay, so the Sanskrit became a important language and a means of communication, important means of communication. And apart from the Sanskrit, we find other languages like the Prakrit and certain Greek languages at the time. And after the ancient, in the medieval times, you find the number of language, vernacular language developed. When you see during the time of Bhakti movement, you find the languages like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, which was developed in the southern part, and in the North Indian context, in the northern part of India, you see say, in the Kashmiris, northern part, northwestern part, and northeastern part, Nepalese, and the other one. In the eastern part, Assamese, Bengali, Oriya. In the southwest part, Gujarati, Marathi. Okay, so all these are developed. When you see in the central Indian territories, like Hindi and various dialects in the Hindi, like Kadiboli and Bhojpuri, such a Indian Hindi dialects has developed. Okay, so it means in the initial days we don't have any particular means of language, means of communication. They followed only science. Next, they developed one of the language, and then from the language, which different language has formed. Okay, so later it turned into vernacular language and language of various people, particular people in a particular region, and these languages again turned into sub languages. Okay, so many subdivisions has taken place. Okay, so when you see Telugu as an example, but the Telugu having certain dialects. Okay, so certain um, the same Telugu language may be followed with certain accents. Okay, so the language, the Telugu speaking in Andhra region is having some, they followed certain a accent, but in the Telangana people, the Telugu may be somewhat different with some accent. Okay, so such type of divisions has taken place. And as a part of these languages, due to writing skills, literature has developed. Okay, so these literature maybe you see with various languages, and the literature development of literature also based on the particular time. Okay, so the same Telugu language in the medieval India having some of the script also a different one, and the usage of terms also different one. When you see the same Telugu which speaking followed in the colonial India, means during the time of modern part, during the time of Europeans time, is somewhat different, and there are some changes has taken place, and the contemporary Telugu language is different. Okay, so it means certain changes has taken place, and not only in the words in the usage, but also you see certain developments and change in the script. Okay, so you cannot read the script which is used during the time of early medieval or during the time of medieval India. Okay, so it is different with the modern script what we are using now. Okay, so such developments has taken place, and number of languages which turned into the various sub languages likewise. Okay, so after that you have we may go with in the module 2 like the religion and philosophy. Okay, so religion and philosophy is one of the important aspect you have to be see in the Indian context. Okay, so and it also you find some variations, and but you see it as a union. Okay, so union of various religions, union of various philosophical thoughts you will see in the Indian context. Okay, so many have misgivings about the nature of ancient India, thought, religion, and philosophy. And philosophy in India is essentially spiritual. Okay, it's a totally a spiritual one, and the religion in India is not dogmatic, right? So it is rational synthesis which goes on gathering into itself new conceptions as a philosophy progress. Okay, so it means what? You find a number of changes as a part of religion and philosophy. Okay, so when you see the philosophy of Charvakas or the philosophy of Kalamukas is the first philosophies which started in India, and based on these philosophies, where the two important religions has emerged in the ancient time, like Jainism and Buddhism, and both having the common features like both are concentrating on getting the moksha. Okay, so the moksha may be attaining moksha may be through the various ways. Okay, so through following certain Ashtanga margas or certain important ways. Okay, so that you can get the moksha, you can attain the moksha. Okay, so these both religions, Jainism and Buddhism, or you better to be called as a revolutionary religions, where these both religions challenged the unwanted rituals and unwanted traditions in the Hindu society at that time. Okay, so the society is following the majority of the society following the Hindu religion, which is also a important religion at that time. And Hindu religion has certain unwanted rituals, which might be challenged by these Jainism and Buddhism at that time. Okay, so Jainism and Buddhism is propagated by various propagators, and mainly Gautama Buddha, who propagated Buddhism, and Jaina Mahavira, who propagated Jainism. But apart from these Jaina and Buddhist propagators, you see number of monks and number of gurus at that time. Okay, so anyhow, these propagators who challenged the unwanted rituals in the Hindu society, finally they started their own way of philosophies. Okay, they started their own way of philosophy, and those philosophies was attracted by the common people basically, because of certain things which were kept these common people away from that. Okay, because Hinduism and Hindu religious texts were commonly written in the Sanskrit and commonly propagated in the language of Sanskrit. So, language of Sanskrit is a language for the elite people. Okay, so it is not for the common people. Okay, so common people language is different, so that they are unable to get the things which mentioned in various Hindu religious texts. Okay, so such difficulties find the common people, and also another important feature, another important thing is Indian society is totally a Varna based. Okay, so Chaturvarna system based society you find, and the upper Varnas having certain privileges, and the lower Varnas treated as some of the servants to the upper Varnas, and again these lower Varnas again divide into again the untouchable communities or impure communities are like that, and these communities were kept away from the mainstream of society, so that these common people were attracted towards the propagators who showed the love and affection towards them. Okay, so in the same way, the common people were attracted towards the propagations of Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, so and these both religions also followed another two important features like Satya and Ahimsa, and ahimsa also, which is important thing you have to be discussed as a part of Jainism and Buddhism. Okay, so these are the important causes, and common people also adapted in their own religions, so that they were attracted towards the Jainism and Buddhism, and uh, uh, that in that sense you definitely call these both religions as a revolutionary religions. Okay, so these you may discuss as a part of ancient India, and as a religious, you can say it as a religious reform movement in the 6th century BC. Okay, so and after that, we have the Hindu and Islamic religious reform movements in medieval India, right? So during the time of Delhi Sultanate and Mughal Indian reign, you have a another religious reform movement as a part of Hindu and Islam. Nothing but the Bhakti movement and Sufi movements. Okay, so these two important religious movements also, who also challenged certain unwanted rituals in the society, and the revival of both religions. Okay, so not only that, these due to these Bhakti movement and Sufi movement, number of new religions came into existence, and the number of regions, the people in the regions has followed their own languages then onwards. Okay, not avoiding such a common language. Okay, so and the mixed and composite culture between the Hindu and Islam also you see, and certain flexibility also you find in the society at that time when compared to the ancient India. Okay, so due to the Hindu and Islamic religious reform movements in medieval India, there are certain changes has taken place as a part of Hinduism and as a part of Sufism. As a part of Hinduism, you see number of schools of thoughts has started. Okay, so Visishta philosophy, Advaita philosophy, uh, and Dvaita Advaita philosophy, such a important philosophies you see as a part of Hinduism. Not only that, there are certain types of uh, religious groups or religious sects also you see. Okay, so like Rama Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti has developed, and Saguna and Nirguna Bhakti has developed during within the Hindu religion. And when you see the Islamic religion, you find the number of groups or number of sects like Firdausi, Suhrawardi, and Sisti. Okay, so such orders also you see within Indian territories. You find nearly six orders. Okay, so likewise, such Hindu and Islamic religious reform movement has started in India, medieval India. And when you see uh, in modern India also you find such a religious reform movements within the various religions and within the mainstream of the society, basically. Okay, so due to the entry or advance of Europeans, due to entry of Western school of thought, due to entry of the Christian missionaries in Indian territories, which given scope about knowing the new things, getting the rationalistic ideas, and challenging the unwanted things or rituals in the society, unwanted traditions in the society. Okay, so based on these, the social structure and all these, such a socio-religious reform movements also emerged in India in modern Indian context. Okay, the father of these movements may be definitely called as Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was a scholar, a pioneer in the various languages, and he also gone through various religious thought and philosophy, and he also had a great idea over the Christianity and Islamic texts. Okay, so based on all these, he started a organization called called Atme Sabha first, and then Atme Sabha turned into the Brahma Samaj later, and with the Brahma Samaj, he created certain miracles due to his efforts, where Sati, one of the unwanted religion in unwanted ritual followed from various followed from the centuries, also eradicated due to his effort during the time of colonial India. Okay, so after the Brahma Samaj also condemned the uh, caste system and class system in the Indian society, and which encouraged the education for women, and also which seeks about egalitarian society at that time. Okay, so after the Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj also started by Swami Dayanand Saraswati, and Arya Samaj also supported some of the things which supported by Brahma Samaj, and but the Dayanand Saraswati's propagation is again Hinduism should be like this, and his main motive is revival of Hinduism, but some some of changes to be must be taking place according to his ideology. Okay, so to him, the Hinduism must be revived, and the caste system should be eradicated, and the education, the religious-based education should be provided. Okay, so these are such things, and Arya Samaj also done much a contribution towards the eradication of such things in India. Okay, so and after that, there are other social religious reform movements have started. Okay, so many movements like Anglo Oriental, Aligarh movement within the in Muslim society has started, and as a part of Sikhism, other religious movements have started, and Parsi reform movements have started. Okay, so all these are reform movements, which better to be called as socio-religious reform movements, which propagated such non-religious aspects in the society and eradication of such a unwanted rituals in the society. And all these social religious movement encouraged the people, particularly towards the Western education and revival of various religions are like that. Okay, so such things we have to see in the part of module 2. And when come to the module 3, it is totally about cultural aspects. Okay, so as a part of culture, we have materialistic and non-materialistic things you have to see. Okay, so as a part of materialistic, you see the painting, art and architecture, and music, all these things you have to see. And as a part of Indian culture, having such a their own part of painting and music and art, but these painting also had certain variations. Okay, so these paintings maybe had certain variations according to their region and geographical compositions are like that. And even though these paintings may be patronized by various rulers from the past, and such a changes has taken place. Okay, so as a part of the cultural aspect, performing arts are also important. Among the performing arts, music, dance, drama are important things. We may also discuss all these things in a detailed manner while the syllabus. And another one is Indian architecture. Okay, so architecture is one of the things which you find the number of changes from ancient India, from ancient period onwards. Okay, so within the ancient period, when the Indo-Greeks and Shakas, Kushanas entered in India, where a new form of architecture has started. Okay, so where the Gandhara school of art and Mathura school of architecture, which is important architectures which developed in the ancient India, where these were um, the mixed architectural styles, Indian and Greek styles combined into the Gandhara school and Mathura school. Okay, so in the Gandhara school, you can see the exact physical appearance of a human. You can see in these structures. You see in these particular statues. Okay, so as a part of Gandhara school, you also see the standing Buddha and sitting Buddha structures or statues. Okay, so and as a Mathura school of art, it is also a combination of Greek and Indian style, where you find particularly the red sandstone is used at that time, which is greatly available in the northern part of India, around Mathura and Agra surroundings. Okay, so the usage of this red sandstone, which is you see in the Mathura School of Art. Okay, so after that, there are other Dravidian school of art and many other schools of art and architecture you find in as a indigenous styles. Okay, so these may be influenced with various styles in medieval India, particularly Indo Islamic culture, better to be called as Indo-Sasanic art and architecture, has developed in the medieval India with the influence of Islam culture. Okay, so such changes has taken place, and having some uniqueness in the these art and architectures also. Okay, all we see while moving with in a detailed manner. Okay, so next one is the last module, module 4, having the things regarding the development of science and technology, particularly how the science and technology uh, developed and from the ages, from the ancient to the modern India. Okay, so science and technology is a scientific temper or the scientific ideology which developed in the minds of human. Okay, so where I'll give you one example here. The development of science and technology, how you find in the ancient part. Okay, so when you see in the prehistoric cultures, we have three phases: Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic. And as a part of Paleolithic, where the main occupation of a human is gathering and hunting. Okay, so while he hunting a animal, gathering the food, to gather the food, he hunt the animals. So that while hunting the animals, he used a huge stone to kill a small animal. Okay, so again, in the Mesolithic period, the same human used a microlith stone to kill a big animal. Okay, so it means what? There is ideological development has taken place. Okay, so instead of using the huge stone, again he used a very little amount of the stone, a microlith, to kill the animal. Okay, so and with the stone, he made these stone tools into various tools by which he can easily get the food from a animal. Okay, so with the stone, he made the tools like um the tools like a blade, burins, and also axe. Okay, so all the tools may be made by him with the stone during the time of Mesolithic. Okay, so again in the Neolithic culture, when you see the Neolithic culture, the same man who killed the animal with the microlith and with certain technique, and he cooked those food and with an utensil by a fire. Okay, so invention of fire you see in the Neolithic, and he cooked that food and he take that food, right? So in the initial stages, he followed only raw food. He taken only raw food, and in the Neolithic, he was cooked the food with the fire. Okay, so for cooking the food, he also invented the fire. He also made certain utensils. Okay, so then during the Neolithic, he had certain settlements. Okay, so within the settlements, he is living with other people, and such a type family system has developed. Such a certain association with other people has developed during that time of Neolithic. Okay, so when you see in the Chalcolithic industrial civilization, he used certain other metals apart from the stone. Okay, so stone is heavy one, and you mold stone into the required styles, required shapes, so that the man has started using other metals like the copper, and copper tools are used, copper utensils are used, and later along with the copper, tin and mixed copper and tin alloy also used. Okay, so such such things, such development has taken place as a part of ancient and uh, prehistoric cultures. Okay, so then onwards, there are certain development has taken place in his ideology. According to the ideology, he made the tools and where he can easily go through with those tools. Okay, so likewise certain developments started, and later he is following the agriculture, followed the cultivating the land, and in the initial stages he only cultivated the land in the easy land with a small stick, and later the hard land was tilled with a plough, and in the initial stages he used the wooden plough. Then he started using the plough share made with various metals like copper and then later iron. Okay, so such important changes has taken place and followed, and then onwards he also used certain yantras till the soil and get the water from the below. Okay, so during the time of Shatavahanas, he followed Udaki yantra and Gati yantras to till the land, get the water from the below. Okay, so such a technological development you see. Okay, so uh, when you see in the Gupta's times, there are numerous scientific development you see where they concentrated on astronomy and Susruta's contribution in the medicine and Bhaskara's contribution in the astronomy and astrology. Okay, so all these things you see during the time of Guptas, and later in the medieval and modern, enormous development has taken place in the part of science and technology. Okay, all these we see as a part of module 4. Okay, so these are the things, students, we are going to discuss, and this is about my class today, and these may be the syllabus may be discussed in a detailed manner in the last in the later classes, and regarding the syllabus for this paper, you have number of reference books in the um, syllabus copy. Okay, you have suggested readings, you can find it. One is A.L. Basham's The Wonder That Was India, or which is also important text where you get a number of cultural aspects of Indian history. And the same from the same author, A.L. Basham's Cultural History of India. Okay, so the direct book regarding the Indian culture also you find, which is a important text. You can get lot of things regarding this paper. Okay, so after that, there are other books like one is Romila Thappar's History of India, Volume 1 and 2, also important text where you get the number of things. Another one is R.C. Majumdar's History and Culture of Indian People. It's a edited one. You find the number of articles in it, and regarding the Indian culture, also important text. And another one is D.D. Koshambi's text, Introduction to the Study of Indian History, which is also the basic text. You get a lot of things regarding ancient India here. Okay, so how the technological development and how the technology has developed towards as a part of Indian economy, you'll get the things from the D.D. Koshambi. Okay, so these are the important text you'll get. And for the fourth module, Deepak Kumar's Science and the Raj, 1857 to 1905, also important text where to get a number of things from the development of science and technology in it. Okay. Okay, so these are the important text regarding paper 5. Okay, so this is about my lecture today. Students, you have any doubts regarding my lecture or any general query, you may ask me now. Vaishnavi, are you there? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have any doubts or queries? You are welcome to ask.
No, sir.
Okay, right. So, shall I end my class now? Okay, thank you. I am ending my class now.